Welcome inside our New York studios. Brent Stover, Cardale Jones, and Kevin Carter as we wrap up the 13th Saturday of the college football season. Just 1 week to go in the regular season and then championship weekend. All right, entering Saturday, this was the CFP bracket. These were the results on Saturday. You look at the teams with check marks, got wins. The teams with X's took losses. It feels to me like chaos. What do you say, Cardale?
You know, when you look at Alabama, BYU, and Ole Miss with multiple losses, two teams, Ole Miss and Alabama, with 3 losses in the conference, I think they're eliminated from the playoff picture, and it makes room for those teams to potentially have a Big Ten and have 4 teams in there. Penn State may sneak in there, maybe at SMU if they were to lose to Miami in the ACC championship game. That would be their first conference loss, and then I think Indiana only slipped down to potentially that 12th spot. ASU probably gets in there if they win outright in the Big 12. But when you look at teams that's on the outside looking in, like a Tennessee right now in this scenario before these losses, I think they're still on the outside looking in because they won't represent their side at the SEC for the SEC championship.
Yeah, the SEC with those 2-loss teams piling up, turning into 3-loss teams is certainly making way for teams like SMU, like you said. Dabo's comments were kind of funny coming in because he said it was more of a Big Ten and SEC invitational, but what we need to explain to everyone at home, this will change. These are the rankings if it ended today. And glad you made mention of those teams that are going to fall out, because just on the outside looking in on the top 12 coming into this weekend, you had teams like SMU. You had teams like Clemson. You have all the contenders basically in the Big 12, the Colorados, the K-States, the Arizona States. They're all moving up in those rankings, and they will be relevant when this new picture comes out. It's interesting. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen on Tuesday to see who fills those spots in those vacated spots by Alabama, possibly BYU, and definitely Ole Miss for 3 losses in the SEC.
Boise State continues as that 4 seed, which is interesting because nobody in their right mind going into the season would have thought that the top group of 5 champion would be anything but probably the 12. But if they win next week and then win the Mountain West title, I feel like they're going to get a first-round bye, which is crazy that they're still going to finish ahead of perhaps the ACC champ and or the Big 12 champ, Kevin.
It's about winning your games, and it's about the relative ranking games on your schedule. If you're talking about Boise State, they have one of the best losses in the country to Oregon, who's sitting at number 1. But if you're talking about a team like a Clemson, for instance, they have no ranked wins on their schedule, and they have a loss to Georgia and unranked Louisville. So it's going to be hard for some teams to move up in there.
You know, potentially putting them at 4 would be kind of the safest bet because they get that first round bye before we get into real conference play in their neutral sites, because I don't think the College Football Committee is ready for a home game if they're not in that top 4 spot at Boise State. So let's see.
And we were talking about the ACC. Obviously, my point would be contingent upon SMU beating Miami
in the ACC title game.
I mean, could Boise State go to 3? It seems a little bit crazy here. But
I've got to give them credit. They set up the dominoes to fall based upon the remaining games in the schedule, and now we're seeing it fall to the remaining conference championship scenarios that take place.
New rankings, new bracket coming out on Tuesday. So long for now.